How you doing, everybody? This is Elisha Hall coming to you right now for your midweek motivation. I'm excited because it's just an amazing day today. Yes, it's a little cold in California, but one of the things that I realized is if I ever wake up and I'm in a bad mood, all I have to do, go back to sleep, wake up, put myself in the right mood. I mean, seriously, I never let any day start off in a bad way. So this is the most amazing day that I've had yet so far in 2016. And so what I'm talking about today is actually being able to use a practical tool that I work with people specifically on to help them understand and navigate through certain things. And the distinction between what you need and what you want and what you're willing to go out and get. So that's what we're talking about today. Midweek motivation, Elisha Hall. I'm excited. All right, everybody. So here's what I do. I use these tools, this idea right here, absolutely free to you guys, that I work with people on when I go through things specifically one-on-one with them. When I coach, I actually coach in the direction of creating 360 degrees of wealth. That's being wealthy spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, and mentally. Just to give you an idea, I spent the last 10 years of my life coaching under and studying and interviewing some of the most successful people in the world. And a lot of times we consider them visionaries because it's almost as if they can predict the future. And what I've realized is these are successful people, but they're also happy. See, there's a difference. I'll give you an example. A good friend of mine, amazing and powerful young woman by the name of Miss Precious Jackson, she says it's powerful to be successful, but the last thing you want is to be peace broke and time broke. So when you think about this, someone that's happy and successful, that means they have the no limitations financially. They have flexibility as far as their time goes, but then they also have peace. See, a lot of successful people are considered workaholics because they love what they do so much they forget that it's work. So in understanding that, here's what we need to understand, what we need to determine with you right now. I want you to take out a pen and a pad, and I want you to write down this list. Okay, so now that you got your pen and paper, you're gonna write down a list. The first list you're gonna write down is the things that you want, okay? Now, the second list that you're gonna write down on that same piece of paper, one half is the things that you want, the other half are the things that you need. There's a difference between the two. So one list of things you want, the other list, the things you need, okay? Now, once you've completed that list, if you need to pause this, feel free to pause it, and you can do that right now, okay? All right, awesome. So if you paused it and you were able to finish those lists, now what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna put a star next to the things that you're willing to work for, the things that you're willing to go out and get. We have to separate the difference between it because not all the things that we need in life or the things that we want are we willing to work for. Are we willing to put in the sweat equity for? See, your doctor might say you need to be healthier. You might even say you want to be healthier, but that doesn't mean you're willing to go out and get healthier. That doesn't mean you're willing to put in the work. That doesn't mean you're willing to, change your dietary habits. That doesn't mean you're willing to change how active you are physically. See, there's a difference between what you're willing to work for, what you need, and what you want. Also, you might be saying, you know what, I want a better marriage, or I need to have a better marriage, or we might be getting a divorce. But are you willing to put in the work for it? Are you willing to take time away from the other things that you do, like TV, or hanging out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, or whatever else you have going on in life, spending more time with family than you do your spouse? Are you willing to take away from those things and put in the work required to make your relationship, your marriage relationship, the way you want it to be? Even from being more creative, doing research online, so when you have your date nights, creative things that you can do that's more than just dinner and a movie. Get creative. What are you willing to do that? Are you willing to create new habits for your relationship so that way you can survive, that way you can thrive, and that way you can create the marriage and the relationship that you want? Same thing with friendships. Same thing with relationships with your children. Are you willing to work for it if that's something that you say that you need or something you say that you want? Put a star next to the things that you're willing to go out and work for. Now here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of to-do lists, because to me, a to-do list just means you have more work to do. And that's where it comes in, where my mentor, he talks about you're busy being broke. See, I spent a long time of my life where I was always busy. You know, somebody wanted to do something with me, I was always busy. If I needed to go somewhere, somebody wanted my time, I was always busy. But I realized I wasn't actually growing in my skill set, or I wasn't actually growing in my finances, my bank account, but I was always busy. So this is a way to actually understand what you're willing to go out and work for, and then go out and do it, because this is going to create the results that you want. See, the only thing that we can affect in life are our efforts. See, we can't determine the outcome. We can't determine the results. All we can do is determine our efforts. Now, our efforts influence the outcome. So it's a matter of saying, okay, well, if I know that my effort influences the outcome, if I'm a ball player, if I play basketball, if I play football, if I practice longer than I have been in the past, then I'm going to develop that skill in a greater way. My effort that I'm putting towards my sport, that means I can determine that over time I'm growing and getting better and better. See, if I leave the football field, if I leave the basketball court and someone else is still practicing, then by default that means that their outcome or their results can be that they're going to get better than I am, because my talent can only take me so far. The things that I already know right now in my mind can only take me so far. What am I willing to learn? What am I willing to put in sweat equity for, so that way I can grow? That way I can learn more. That way I can increase my 360 degrees of wealth, either spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, or mentally. And now that you understand that, now it's time to go in and put in the work. It's time to put in the work. Put our head down and go to work. I mentioned several videos ago that this is the year of the grind, because in order to create the life that we want, we have to go out and get it. I've said it before that I believe everyone deserves the things in life that they're willing to go out and get. What are you willing to go out and get? What are you willing to work for? What are you willing to do differently today so you can have different results tomorrow than you had yesterday? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do that's different than most of your friends that are around you? What are you willing to do that's different than the people that you went to high school with? What are you willing to do that's different than the people that you grew up in the same neighborhood with? That's what's going to separate you, because you have to stand out to be outstanding. Now it's a matter of going out and getting it. You have the idea of the things that you're willing to work for. You've got the list. Now go get it. Go find out the specific things in those specific areas that you want. Whether you need to go get a coach, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to anybody. It doesn't have to be me. Just go reach out to somebody. Put a plan in place for those things that you're willing to work for. Don't worry about everything else. Just the things that you have determined that you're willing to go work for. Figure out and determine how to go get those things, and then go make it happen. Put the plan in place on how to get them and go make it happen. Now it's time to grind. Now you have the information. Now you have the knowledge. Now it's time to act on that knowledge. It's not that knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is power. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna make that change now, or are you gonna procrastinate? Are you going to let fear stand in your way? Are you going to let complacency keep you where you've always been? That's the question. Now that we can move forward and understand that this game of life is a team sport, we're stronger together than we are separately. So whether you're working with me, whether you're working with a different coach, whether you're working with mentors, whoever it is, find somebody. Find somebody. Don't do it alone. See, because me personally, it was only when I put aside my pride, I put aside my ego, and instead of making it all about me, I realized that I needed to put that aside in order to learn from others that have been where I want to be, that have what I want, that are where I want to go. Now it's time to understand, when you put those things aside, the ego and the pride, and you're willing to humble yourself, you can get everything in life that you want. It's just a matter of going and getting it. So, as I mentioned many times, we're stronger together than we are separately. So let's walk down that hall to success together.